You're an insurance agent that wants to absolutely thrive and survive well in telesales with final expense or Medicare. You found the right video. I'm going to help you understand the toxic advice, how to avoid it, the dangerous advice, and how to never take it. Because it's important to know what to do, but sometimes it's important for you as the agent force to know what to avoid so that you can make the wealth. So I'm going to dive into the toxic advice that I've heard, and hopefully this will be a help to you. So before I go into this, jasonfinalexpense.com. I'm so blessed to partner and recruit agents across this nation in my national agency. We sell life, Medicare, annuities, face-to-face, but more importantly, in the telespace. So if you'd like free resources, they're there on the website for the taking, and I appreciate you joining with me today. So the biggest thing that you're going to want to be careful of, the toxic advice really takes place with leads. Tip number one, and I'm going to give you two of them today if you're taking notes, is bad leads. Yes, leads are the absolute lifeblood of this industry. And if you're even halfway skilled, but you don't have the leads, then you're being led in the wrong direction. Leads are everything when you know how to script, how to rebuttal, how to write the business. You need leads, and toxic leads abound. And there's some IMOs that really give some bad advice. So be careful, be wary of it. The first type of lead that you want to really avoid is these telemarketed leads that are not TCPA compliant. They're a litigator's lunch. They're waiting to sue you. Yes, sue you. So any place from like blankety blank at gmail.com, $6 lead, $5 lead, this crazy good telemarketed lead, run for the hills. It's so important that your leads are TCPA compliant. All right. A lot of agents have gotten sued, and they're out of this industry as quick as they came into it. And you may make some sales with them. I'm not saying that they won't work. All right. But your wealth is going to go out that window quickly. So if your agency or the advice that you're being given is to use these cheap telemarketed leads from blah, 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 gmail.com, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. You just won't make it. I know of an agent that I refused to bring on to my agency. All right. Wouldn't partner with him because he wanted to use these types of leads, these telemarketed leads. It took him, okay, for a ride. We're talking over $42,000+ in attorney's fees, and he's not even done yet. Not good. So be careful of bad leads. They can not only leave you as an agent with a bad taste in your mouth, but it can actually take you out of this industry. You can get like put on a list, okay, of people that no insurance company is going to want to even touch because you're doing stuff you shouldn't be doing. TCPA compliance is a big deal. So if you're thinking about using telemarketed leads, take a step back, take a deep breath, and just don't touch them. Okay. Treat them like the plague. Okay. It's not good. Another type of lead that you're really going to want to avoid in telesales is a direct mail lead. If you're doing face-to-face insurance, fine. That's a good lead for that. That's the gold standard. But do not do direct mail leads. Just because that worked years and years ago doesn't mean it works now. There's a lot of IMOs that lack any form of relevance. They haven't done telesales. So sometimes agents are being told to go buy a direct mail lead, which is not cheap. Any of you in this industry understand that direct mail leads are insanely expensive. And for the price that you pay, my goodness, why would you do that to yourself? Why? Because when the direct mail lead comes back to you, the agent, the phone number's not there. Well, if you're in telesales, that kind of stinks. If you're doing, okay, face-to-face, fine, you're going to go door knock it. But why in the world would a telesales agent ever buy direct mail leads or be told to buy direct mail leads? Many years ago, I did direct mail leads, and I did phenomenally well in telesales with that lead. But guess what? I knew my demographic, and I got almost a 3% return because I've done this so long. A brand new agent may get less than a 1% return, and they're going to get hurt. They're going to get harmed from agencies, from IMOs that say use direct mail leads and use it for telesales. It takes agents out of this industry. They may drop $500 and get just a handful of leads back, and then the leads that got returned may not even have a phone number. See how that's really just horrible advice that would be given to a brand new agent? I've seen this so many times. Stay away from direct mail leads. Stay away from illegally sourced telemarketed leads that lack any form of TCPA compliance. They don't indemnify you, the agent. You can get sued. But the really toxic advice that some agents have taken is they're being told to buy direct mail leads. Oof, not good for telesales. Face-to-face, yes. Telesales agents, run, run, run. But watch out for illegal vendors that are out there blowing up your email inbox with these types of blah, blah, blah. They can't even form a real sentence and they want to sell you leads. I've seen this. They hit my website all the time. It's ridiculous. Okay. You got to be real guarded here. If it's not a vetted lead vendor, stay away from them. But be careful. Never use direct mail for final expense telesales or even Medicare insurance telesales. You can get an inbound lead for that kind of price. For those of you watching, just don't do it. It's just toxic advice. So if you work for an IMO or an FMO, okay, you got to make sure you vetted your trainer. And sometimes it doesn't take place and you're being given bad advice, and it is unfortunate, really. So the next tip I want to share with you here is if you work for an IMO or an FMO that is telling you to set appointments for telesales, it's toxic advice. You don't set appointments in telesales. Telesales is all about using the telephone and taking care of the great prospect. By an act of goodness, you got them on the phone. If you set an appointment, you're really just setting yourself up for a no-show. You're setting yourself up for a no-show in telesales. They're just not going to be there 99% of the time. If you're being told from your IMO to set appointments for telesales, run, 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 just like if your IMO is telling you to use direct mail for telesales. Okay, take a hike and hit the road, Jack. Go find another IMO quick. If you're being told to set an appointment for telesales, do the same. It's not an IMO that knows telesales. Or if they're telling you to use Zoom for telesales, there's no room for Zoom in final expense telesales or Medicare Advantage telesales. It's just not necessary. You're going to be looking up nose hairs and the client's going to get frustrated. I just can't figure out this Zoom. And you're going to lose the conversation that you may have been able to have, and the value that you could bring to them was hindered because you basically hurt the conversation by putting a roadblock in front of you connecting with that client. So if you're being told to set an appointment for telesales, don't do it. If you're being told to use Zoom, that's just face-to-face sales virtually. Okay. And there's nothing wrong with doing virtual appointments. If you're dealing with a middle income client or an upper income client, then use Zoom. Zoom can be great. I've used Zoom for an upper income client that lives way far away. No big deal. There is room for Zoom if you're dealing with like a middle class or an upper class clientele base. But the demographic of these sweet people that are final expense clients that are a Medicare Advantage client, they're amazing folks, but they don't always have the resources that maybe another demographic might have. They don't have maybe a computer just at their fingertips. It's unfortunate, but it's the truth. So when you're dealing with that kind of business, you want to be about the people. How can I bring value to them? How can I take care of this great consumer all day, every day? And that involves a phone call. Telesales is so simple, simple, simple. Not easy, okay, by any stretch, but it's very simple. The process is if you know it. So if your agency is telling you to set appointments for telesales, don't. All right. You're being given really dangerous advice here. If your agency is telling you to buy illegal telemarketed leads from blankety@gmail.com, don't touch them with a 10-foot pole. There's only one telemarketed lead vendor that I will even get anywhere near. No other vendor will I even touch because of the litigation problems, because of the lack of TCPA compliance that exists. And by all means, if your IMO or FMO is ever saying to use direct mail leads for telesales, they don't know what they're doing. You have to vet your trainer. I have done insurance combined with my telesales background over 20 years. We're talking over 2+ decades. You have to be deliberate. Partnerships matter. And if you want to be profitable and do telesales, you want to make sure that you're taking advice from folks that have truthfully done it. Ask any agency, how long have you done telesales? Okay, what's your best 6 months? When was the last time you even sold by phone? Ask those questions. Ask what their greatest year was. Ask if the person that's going to train you has even qualified for $1 Million Roundtable. What's their personal production? They shouldn't be put off with that. What have they actually done in their best 6 months? How much money have they made in their best month selling by phone themselves? Ask these questions. It may save you a lot of heartache, but some toxic advice to be absolutely diligent to steer clear of is really bad illegal telemarketed leads, whether they're inbound or outbound. And then direct mail leads for telesales. No, no, no. Just because it worked way back in the day doesn't mean it has any relevance today. Be careful. All right, everybody. And don't set appointments. Don't use Zoom for final expense or the Medicare Advantage clientele 9 times out of 10. There's always an exception to the rule here. All right. But for a upper class client, it's got great audio, really good with tech, then fine. Take it there if you need it to. But for final expense, it's never necessary, even with a middle class or upper class clientele base. It's just not needed. Telesales is all about the telephone, and I hope this video helps you. If you need anything at all, reach out, jasonfinalexpense.com. Oh, by the way, I'll put some content up here above that your IMO may not want you to know about. I hope you have a great day, and if I can serve you in any way, reach out. Have a good one, and we'll see you soon.